Hey, this is Brandon with Ivy Creek. Today we're at our partner NPT to go through the design center process and what it looks like to pick your pool materials. So let's get on side, meet Nikki, and check it out. All right, so when you come to the design center, we do have a homeowner entrance. You're gonna be meeting with Nikki.
Hey.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. All right, so we went ahead, we put an example design together for a backyard pool so we could actually go through and make our own selections while going through the design process. So Nikki, if you could please take us through what that looks like.
Yeah, so for the design you guys are looking at, we need to look at 5 selections. So that is going to be your waterline tile, your coping, your decking, your veneer for any raised features, and then your interior finish.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So let's start with pool
Yeah,
tile.
let's look at waterline tile.
So when looking at tile options, generally, what's our range of options that we have?
So most people are budgeted for a standard 6x6 porcelain tile. If we are to change size, go with a deco, or even switch materials to a glass, that's when we're gonna have that increase to the budget.
Okay.
So for today's project, we're looking at a standard 6x6.
Okay, awesome. So I'm gonna make my selection, and I think I will do the cat blue. So now that we've got our pool tile selection, what's our next one?
Next one, we're gonna look at your coping and decking materials. So your options when it comes to that are either gonna be travertine, marble, and then there is a more popular option that's coming into the area, and that would be a porcelain.
Okay. When looking at all our options, is there one that is more popular than another?
I think we're starting to see people move towards marbles. You get a little bit more consistency in color. You also get the added benefit of texture.
Got it. So more consistency in color and texture. So when looking at all of our pool coping options, what should we be considering before making a selection?
I think the big things to worry about is going to be color.
Okay.
Texture is important, and then coolness. I think those are the 3 areas that we get asked about the most.
Okay. When thinking about coolness, right, because we're in North Carolina, we have some pretty hot days.
Yep.
What, from a material standpoint, tends to stay cooler than the other?
So it's all personal body temperature that's going to dictate. From the general public, what we find is that travertine is what is most commonly used because it does not hold that heat in. Marble seems to be that same way. Okay,
great. Now, does that transfer over into the decking as well?
Yes, so your coping and your decking we see are the same here. Some projects, they will choose to pick an accenting coping and compared to a decking option. But you're gonna have the same temperature, same texture, all of that will be consistent.
Okay. Now, talk to me about the different textures when it comes to your pool coping.
Yeah, so like I mentioned, you've got 3 options there when it comes to it. You've got fine picked, you've got sandblasted, and then you've got leathered. So your fine picked and sandblasted, you definitely feel your texture, whereas leather is a little bit more subtle.
So I'm gonna make my selection, and the selection we're gonna go for is Diana Royal. I really wanna go with that lighter, darker contrast, and also love how that has that blue in it. So that's where we're gonna go with so far. So now that we have the tile, we have our coping. I'm gonna choose the same matching decking. What do we need to go through?
Let's talk about pattern when it comes to your decking option. So most common we see French pattern that's able to be used in pretty much every application. But if you're working more on a geometric pool, then you could consider using like a 16 by 24 or 24 by 24 and more of a linear install.
I'm gonna go with the
classic?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the classic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So while we're at this selection, the next thing is that the design we're working off of has a raised spa. And so the question is, what do you want to wrap that raised spa in? Most commonly used, you've got a standard veneer. So we've got one. This is also Diana Royal. You got 3 sizes in that. You got a 2x4, a 1x2, a 2x4, or a multi-panel.
Okay. So for my selection, we're gonna go with the 2x4 and the Diana Royal, so everything is matching. When on the topic about veneer for our spa surrounds, aside from just straightforward veneer like we have here, what are our other options to wrap our spas with?
Yeah, so you see spas wrapped in waterline tile. If they want to go that direction, you could wrap them in pavers if you want to do that. But more classically used is going to be the stacked stone split face veneer.
Okay, awesome. So we've got our veneer, we've got our decking, we've got our coping, we've got our tile.
Yep.
So I think that leaves us with our last selection, correct?
Yep.
So let's do it. What do we got?
We got interior finish. So everything below that 6x6 waterline tile is what we need to select now. And this is what's going to give the pool its actual color.
Okay. This is a wall of a lot of different selections.
Yeah.
So if you could please break it down for me on what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I think the best thing is first talk about texture. So this bottom row here, you've got regular pebble, which tends to have the most amount of texture.
Got it.
Then we move up to mini pebble.
Okay.
So again, big difference there is just texture. Colors translate between both of those.
Okay.
And then as we work our way up this wall, you've got micro pebble, which tends to be the smoothest option when it comes to pebble finishes. And then you've got Puerto Rican blend. So we are essentially adding glass to either a regular or mini pool finish. And then lastly, you've got the touch of glass, which is just picking out whatever glass you want to mix into, again, that mini or regular option that you select.
Okay.
A little bit more customizable.
Okay, so you brought up the aspect of having glass inside of our pool finish. For most people, that may sound not like something you want in your pool.
Yeah.
So can you please talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so what it is essentially it's taking a dull pool finish and adding a reflective value to it. So it kind of enhances what that overall watercolor is going to look like in the end.
Okay.
So if you have a large tanning area, you would definitely appreciate adding glass to that pool finish.
Got it. Okay, great. Is there a bunch of different options or selections when looking at glass?
So if you go with the Puerto Rican blend, the glass is kind of chosen for you, and I can show you what that looks like. What's nice about our brand specifically is you can customize whatever. So let's say we look at this Tropics Blue, which is a popular color. But one thing I often hear is, I don't like the red in there. So you just take the red out.
That's nice.
So you can customize any of these how you would like. The only hiccup to that is I can't show you a sample in advance.
Yeah, that's
But you could do whatever you like.
Okay. So I narrowed my selections down to the midnight blue. So why don't you take us through what the difference between these two midnight blue options are?
Yeah, so this is midnight blue with mini pebble. This is where most people land. They like that this is a softer pool finish. It doesn't tear up the bathing suits or eat up at your feet. The other one you're considering is that midnight blue with Puerto Rican blend. So this means it has glass mixed into it already. So you're going to get that reflective value out of that. Really notice that on the tanning ledge for this project. This is what we're comparing.
Okay, cool. Personally, I think I am going to go with the Puerto Rican blend.
With the glass.
Yes, I'm going to go with the glass installed in it.
Well, let's go put these all together, and then we can take it outside. You've got Diana Royal coping, Diana Royal decking, we're going to do in that French pattern. You've got Diana Royal 2x4 veneer for your raised spa. You got cat blue as your waterline tile, and then midnight blue Puerto Rican blend. Coming outside allows you to see what it's going to look like, more similar to the landscape it's going to end up in. So you've got your French pattern decking below here.
Yep.
You've got the example of your veneer 2x4 right there.
Yep.
And then the top is acting as your coping.
Got it.
One detail we haven't talked about, but is worth mentioning, is your coping edge. So you can do a straight edge, which is what we have here, or you could do a rounded edge, which would be a bull nose.
Cool. I'm going to go with the bull nose.
Okay.
I like the look of it. All right, so we've made our selections. We've gone outside to see what it looks like in the real sunlight. So to finish this off, what do we do?
Yeah, we're going to take notes so that way the homeowner has something to leave with, and then you kind of have those for your own files.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
And while she takes those notes, I'm going to go ahead and say thank you to NPT, to Nikki for letting us stop on by and shoot this video, for showing you what it looks like to go through the design center process. Again, if you have any questions, just reach out to us and let us know.
And that concludes the design center process. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you have any questions about your pool install here in Charlotte or the surrounding areas of the Carolinas, give us a call, let us know. We'll be happy to help. Have a great rest of your day.